Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a bit of deck building. So, one of the new cards in the most recent selection pack, as of recording this video, I don't know when I'll be posting this, but yeah. Lord of Swords is pretty interesting, but, like, it's kind of good and trash at the same time. This card is kind of insane. So, this card cannot be special summoned. You attribute summon this card by attributing one normal summoned slash set monster. If this card is normal summoned or flip face up, activate this effect. Your opponent can send any number of cards from their field to the graveyard. Then each player draws the same number of cards as were sent to the graveyard by this effect. During the end phase of the turn this effect was activated, shuffle all cards into the deck from the fields, the graveyards, and that are banished once per turn during the end phase. If this card on the field was normal summoned or flip face up this turn, return this card to the hand. So, if you activate this first effect, the second effect will also happen, right? This is all one effect. And then it will shuffle all cards into the deck from the field, the graveyard, and that are banished. And this applies to both players. So the idea here is probably, let's see, that you can return this to the hand first, and then you can do this, so this will not get shuffled back. So that's cool, I guess. But, notably, what do you pass with after resolving this? Like, can you play from, like, hand and then use only quick plays or something? To, like, try to set something up real quick? Yeah, I don't think this will set up that much, right? So, pretty awkward there. And however, though, if you were to just use this to, like, board break, technically, this would be able to, like, wipe out your opponent's entire setup, right? All of their cards that are banished, like, let's say they have a banished Fenrir, that might be useful for a Birth Lighter for Kishtira, right? That's not there anymore. If your opponent is playing, like, Labyrinth, for example, and they have Big Welcome, that gets shuffled back from the graveyard, back into the deck you go. And no more needing to deal with that, right? Or the furniture, whatever. They'll have to draw into it again to gain access to it, right? And also, if you have any back row on the field, monsters, anything, shuffle it back. And I have no idea how this works exactly. So I don't know if this works on, like, towers monsters or not. Shuffle all cards into the deck from the field, the graveyards, and that are banished. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I want to lean towards yes. So if you had, like, a Blackwing Full Armor Master, for example, I think it would be shuffled back, but don't quote me on that. We'll figure this out eventually. Well, and when we do, we will figure it out, I suppose, right? So this card is interesting, but at the same time, okay, where's my win con? Like, assuming my opponent has some monsters on the field, right? Even if I beat over one of them, it's not like I'm going to do any battle damage with this, right? Like, it'll get shuffled back. My cards and theirs. So, I guess, would it be, like, the idea that next turn I'll be able to start chipping away at my opponent and doing some damage? Like, that doesn't sound that good either. And also, this effect's kind of weird. So, this here, your opponent can send any number of cards from their field to the graveyard, then each player draws the same number of cards as were sent to the graveyard by this effect. That effect is pretty damn weird. So my opponent gets to draw, so there's a good chance they'll just be able to do a play after this resolves, and why would I let that happen? I'm not enjoying that idea. So, yeah, let's bookmark this real quick. Oh, bookmark limit. Let's see what I can remove. I think Sambo, probably. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll have to sort out my bookmarks later. Well, whatever. Some of my bookmarks are just kind of like reminders to build this deck as well. Like, insert build deck around this card. Well, anyways. So we have Lord of Swords, and then we have some other spirit monsters. And I'm pretty sure there's a spirit monster that searches other spirit monsters, which is nice. So whatever, let's just go through all the spirit monsters. There aren't that many, huh? So Imano Awato is just insane, so we'll just grab Imano Awato. I don't think we really care about Yatagarasu, so whatever. And then Sakitama I think that's probably like a 3 of. And then there is Nikitama. What does this one do? Uh-huh. You can normal summon one spirit monster in addition to your normal summon slash set. When this card is sent to the figure, draw one card. I mean, that's probably decent, so we'll just throw those in for now. And then I'm pretty sure there is a spirit monster that searches other spirit monsters. Is there not? Is it this one? No. Should be here somewhere, no? Or is that not a spirit monster? Oh, that might not be a spirit monster. That makes sense. Technically, maybe. If this card is... Oh, never mind, right? Oh, here it is. Never mind. So it's just Aratama. This card was normal summoned or flip face up. This turn, return this card to the hand. This card is normal summoned or flip face up. You add a spirit monster from your deck to your hand, except for itself. Solve once per turn on the... There's no once per turn on the search, actually, for this. Interesting. Yaksha doesn't seem super useful, so... An idea I had is this. We could try for some funnies with, like, exchange. Like, normal exchange and gift exchange. So let's grab copies of this. And where is regular exchange? Yeah. Okay. And then gold moon coin. So right now this might not make sense, but it will make sense later. I assure you. So this is just meme territory. And then we have Armageddon Designator. Isn't this intriguing now? And then we'll get like Rep Track. Probably, maybe. Actually, can we resolve Trap Track like ever? Maybe. So I'll just consider this for now, right? So triple Trap Track, and then we have triple Armageddon Designator, and every single copy of Trap Track is essentially another copy of Armageddon Designator. So this doesn't seem that interesting, does it? But then, let's think about this. If our cards are like dead-ass useless, like, let's be real, spirit monsters, like, most of these will be useless if our opponent's playing them. Like, what are you going to do with a Mono Iwado, for example? I have nothing on the field for you to negate anyways. This is just self-sabotage. And then this should return to my hand because it is my card, if you were to summon this, for example, right? And we can also gold moon coin to get back our own monsters with exchange, potentially, right? But the big funny idea that I have here is simply that since we're going to keep recycling cards, Armageddon Designator should be getting recycled as well, so we just have to throw in some draw power as well. So like Upstart. I don't think we want to do Chicken Game because that will lower our life points. So not a super big fan of that one. But the general idea here is we're going to draw through a lot of our deck, and we're going to keep recycling all of these cards. So we're not going to choose any kind of card that has a certain type of effect, but with our Armageddon Designator, the idea is we're going to take our opponent's cards, and we're going to use this lovely effect to banish it, and then it will be gone. So for example, let's say we're against a Kashira player. Ideally, I will try to take your, like, Theosis, and then your, like, copy of Birth, or something like that, and then, boom, I will simply banish it, right? And then it's gone. You can no longer activate Theosis, and in fact, it's actually pretty bad. Like, let's see what this is exactly. Cards or the effects of cards with that name for the rest of the duel. Yeah, so Theosis is now no longer a usable card. You can't activate Theosis, and the effects of Theosis cannot be used because of Armageddon Designator. So that's the basis behind the idea here. I just want to Armageddon Designator all of my opponent's cards until the point where they can no longer play. That is the goal. And let's see what Salesman says exactly. Is this worth it? Clear one. Yeah, that's not that great. Okay. And actually, this gives us another good play to potentially try for. But, this is a bit rough to make happen, but Lullaby is technically, like, not completely bad. Like, the idea of, like, knowing what your opponent's playing so you can lullaby their monster and then banish it. This only banishes from hand, however, so we would have to find a way to, like, hopefully, like, put their monster card that we declare to our hand. Like, let's say, for example, we know our opponent is on Mikanko, so I can declare, like, Hu Li, I believe, and then they'll have to either special summon Hu Li or whatever, and then we can just take their Hu Li, and then boom, Armageddon designator, no more Hu Li, right? So, something like that. Or, like, let's say our opponent's playing Mikanko, and then we can just banish their double-edged sword, and then there's, like, no threat of us getting gamed anymore, right? That's possible. And while we're at it, then that makes card destruction pretty solid, right? As an option. I would think so, at least. Helps us draw through our deck more. And, of course, that will do some funnies to our opponent here. And ideally, I think I would like a way to somewhat punish them for having, like, a massive hand, if their hand is a bit too big. Being able to remove cards from their hand as well seems like not completely too bad. So that is on the table as well. I think would not be too bad. So let's look for this. Rest of the duel. What cards show up? This. We have Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell. This is actually kind of funny. So that's not bad. Sekka's Mistaken Accusation. Mistaken Accusation. Okay, that looks about right. So I think that's like a one-off. Okay. Time Tearing Morganite. So we can't activate cards in hand, but we draw more. So I think that is worth running. You can only activate one of these, right? You banish this card from your graveyard, then discard one Time Tearing Morganite. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects when you normal summon this turn. This card is not once per turn. Okay. So then you can also banish this card from your graveyard, discarding itself. One can not activate monster effects when you normal summon only this turn though. So it's like weird. But it protects from Solemn, I guess, technically. Armored Kappa. Does that do anything for us? Salesman? No. So yeah, it's mostly just going to be this, and then what about Downrester Coilatus? Coilet Silat, whatever. Struggling to speak today. So that card does nothing. And then we have Sekka's, yeah. So let's throw in copies of Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell as well. And we're going to probably look for a bit more draw power. But we want, like, in general, like, some renewable draw power. So that would be ideal. Maybe we'll throw in 3 of these just to be safe. But actually, now that I think about it, if we run, like, Extrav, and this Extrav will be limited to 1, but if we Extrav, our extra deck will just come back anyways, because it'll get shuffled back by this. So we could just run this in Crossby, right? And that would be fine. But we can't draw any cards by card effects after this. Or this. So that's, like, awkward. Do we need to special summon at all in this? I don't think we do. So we can run some stuff like Duality, technically. So something like this. But I mean, I do want to run Golden Unicorn to do some drawing, so bit awkward, but I do want to make sure we do have hand cards. So, that's a bit awkward. So, not 100% sure how we will go about this, but yeah. The general idea here is that we're going to take our opponent's cards, and we're going to simply just banish them and make them not usable. That is the plan. And all of our cards are pretty just trash, like, overall, so exchange is not a big deal, I don't think, right? So, we could also throw in stuff like triple tactics and, like, thrust. That is okay as well. But I don't think, like, after a few turns that will be super relevant. So maybe we should look for something else. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything important. But we are playing with spirit monsters here, so let's just check out some of the spirit monsters real quick, though. See if there's actually one that really helps us. I think there was, right? One of the two. So it's like Hino Kagutsuchi. They discard all cards in their hand during the next draw phase before they draw. That's not like that bad, considering what we want to be doing. But we have to tribute 2 cards, I think, to summon this. So how do we even summon this? Yeah. And then there should be one more card I'm trying to look for here. Yamato Dragon, okay. So this still requires 2 tributes, whatever though. This card cannot be special summoned. This card returned to its owner's hand during the end phase of the turn as normal summon or flip face up. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, draw cards until you have 5 in hand. Okay, that should help out with this. So that'll be ideal, I guess, right? So I think we do want 3 copies of those. 3 copies of this. And we're cooking. So then we have Mistaken Rest, and yeah, okay. So obviously life points, that's not how we're going to be winning, but we don't decrease our own life points, so that'll be fine. So this card, well, not just this card, but this deck in general will be pretty gimmicky, but in fact, this does make it so that we can run Small World pretty, like, effortlessly as well, because Small World won't be an issue for us. So I just have to make sure we have the bridges. Let's see, Fairy, Fiend, Fairy, Orange. Level 4 and Light, those have in common. This has in common, like, too much as well. This has in common too much. Does this have anything in common with this? Nothing. How about this? Anything in common? Nope. So Small World is not playable unless I throw in bridges, but I don't know what I would throw in exactly right now. But I do like the idea of the deck at the very least. So in fact, we could run potentially Desires. We just have to make sure we would have this card as well. So we can recycle all of our banished cards. And you can just activate Desires whenever. So not a super big deal for us to just Desires. So we can throw in like 1 Desires, I guess. I don't really see the purpose of running too many copies of Desires, because we don't have like a lot going on. So then the rest of the extra deck doesn't really super matter. We can just throw in stuff like Entis, and Entis, the Tis, Entis. How do you spell this card? Do I have Entis bookmarked here? Of course I don't. Okay. So Pain, Fusion. Oh wait, Fusion, and then I'm pretty sure it's a light monster, and I have a copy, right? Yeah. So we could go like Entis 3 and some other stuff like this, and that can just be our extra deck, and we would be chilling, right? And yeah, like just Entis, Omega, whatever. and then our opponent would just have to tank these. But notably, we aren't running anything like a duality, so we can still run like hand traps. So Gamma is notably like pretty nasty because we're always recycling driver as well, right? So that's pretty good, I guess, right? And then if we have Omega, we can do some hand looping, and then Omega and the card that we um, banish from the hand will like get shuffled by this. So I think this is like probably the only hand trap we would need in this strange build. I mean, we would have to probably fix it up as well a bit more. So it's still like a bit awkward, but overall this is a bit less expensive than expected, but it's still like relatively expensive. So like if I were to do this, I don't even have enough URCP to make this, despite having 350. So yeah, can't quite make this just yet, but if we do have Time Tearing Morganite resolved at least, it's not that bad, right? Because then the effect to force our opponent to discard is pretty nice. So let's actually look for that card. What was it called again? Kagutsuchi or something? Kagutsuchi, yeah. So we can just run one of these, and this will just help us slowly poke down our opponent, I suppose, but yeah. If our opponent is playing a spell trap deck, we'll just slowly negate all of their good traps. If our opponent is playing like a spell deck, same thing, and that's how it goes. This should be able to theoretically beat Runic. There's a good chance that that statement is true. But also, just in cases, we might want to be able to do some back row removal. So we'll just throw in copies of evenly, like 3. Deck isn't super well balanced right now, but I don't care about the extra deck, so we'll see. Let's do a test hand, and we have this. So, Gift Exchange. Both players banish 1 card from the deck's face down, and if they do during the end phase of this turn, both players add to their hands the card their opponent banished by this effect. So if we have to Gift Exchange, I would give my opponent Gold Moon Coin, just straight up. What else do I have? And we can activate both. So Gold Moon Coin has sadly a hard once per turn, but it's funny enough that I would want to try running 3 of it, so we'll see how that would go. And then we have Aratama. Add a spirit monster from your deck to your hand, except for Aratama. So we can add a thing there, and then we have Trap Tracks. So we would probably need to actually set Aratama and then use Trap Tracks. And then we would need like a good target off of Trap Tracks to not lose, so this is just not a good hand. Okay. How do we end on something playable, actually? This is crazy. I guess if the idea was like to normal summon Aratama to add this, and then if you do Sakitama, is there like a spirit monster worth like summoning actually? I have to read through more of them, like there's no way this will work then. Well, not useful. What's this? Nothing. Nothing. Oh, that effect's actually kind of useful, but this overall doesn't do anything. What's this do? Doesn't do anything. Basetsu. All of their effects are on normal summon, right? So that doesn't do anything. No. Is there any way I can stop my opponent from playing, maybe? That would be ideal. So, actually I forgot about this, but 1 day of peace. This is completely solid. Not taking battle damage is okay for us here, because we will definitely lose because spirits. Yeah, looks like we will need like some kind of engine to do some special summoning and then like drawing. So maybe we can try like Despot, for example, and then we can try doing the one of the Despot combos. Actually allows us to draw, I think. So as long as we don't use any once per duel effects in this combo, we should be able to draw. So maybe we do a Librarian combo, so yeah. We just have to make sure to end on like a starter in our hand, and then we can just Hyper Librarian, do it again and again, right? So that is the new plan now. So same kind of main deck. I do want to do this kind of thing still. So that's probably what I want. So yeah, I guess for now I'll end it here because this has been going on for a while and I'm kind of just lost in the sauce right now. So yeah, I guess that's all I've got for you guys today, and we'll work on this again another time. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and if you have any ideas for what else we might be able to do with Sumuha Kutsunagi, the Lord of Swords, or simply put, Lord of Swords, uh, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.